Let me ask you something. What if I told you there's a tiny, ordinary-looking penny from 1970 that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Yep, you heard that right. Just imagine. You're digging through your spare change, grumbling about how a penny can't even buy a piece of gum anymore, and boom. You spot the jackpot sitting right in your hands. I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny worth almost 2 million bucks? You gotta be messing with me. But trust me, folks, this is the real deal. And today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1970 D. Lincoln penny, why it's so rare, what to look for, and, most importantly, how you might just be one lucky pocket change away from being a millionaire. But before we get into that, let me tell you about a time I almost threw away a coin that could have been worth a small fortune. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. So, let's set the stage. The year is 1970. The Beatles are still together, barely. Gas costs 36 cents a gallon. And over in Denver, at the US Mint, they're cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. But somewhere along the way, something goes terribly wrong, or incredibly right, depending on how you look at it. See, the 1970 D. Lincoln penny we're talking about isn't just any penny. It's got a huge minting error, one that collectors go absolutely bonkers for. Specifically, this bad boy is a double die obverse, meaning the design was accidentally stamped twice, causing the details to appear doubled. Now, doubling on a coin is usually a mistake, but in the world of coin collecting, it's like finding a four-leaf clover. If that clover could buy you a Lamborghini. The most valuable version of this error coin has distinct doubling in the date and the word Liberty on the front. If you see that on a 1970 D penny, hold on to it for dear life. Now, here's where things get crazy. One of these rare pennies was recently sold at auction for $1.8 million. That's right. One little copper coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the sidewalk is worth more than a mansion. You might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these bad boys? Well, let's break it down. Look at the date. If you see a noticeable doubling in the numbers, especially the 970, you might be onto something. Check the word Liberty. The letters should have a clear doubled effect, almost like they're shadowing themselves. Mint mark matters. This particular error is found on pennies from the Denver Mint, so you're looking for a little D under the date. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Trust me. Unless you've got superhero vision, you're gonna need one. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin. A few years back, I was rolling up some pennies to cash in because, I figured an extra $3 would change my life. I was halfway through when I spotted a weird-looking penny. The date looked kind of off, like it had a shadow. But did I stop? Nope. I just shrugged and kept rolling. Fast forward a week later. I'm watching an auction, and what do I see? A coin with the exact same error selling for thousands of dollars. I nearly fell off my chair. I rushed back to check my rolls, but it was too late. That penny was probably out there, buying someone a cup of coffee instead of sitting in my collection where it belonged. Lesson learned. Always check your change. So, where do you go if you think you have one of these valuable pennies? You've got a few options. A local coin dealer. They can give you a quick opinion, but make sure they're reputable. Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. If you think you've hit the jackpot, get it authenticated and graded. Auction houses. If you've truly got a $1 million penny, you'll want to put it up for auction where collectors will battle it out with their wallets. First, never underestimate a penny. That little piece of copper sitting in your couch cushions could be worth a life-changing fortune. Second, always double-check your coins, because you never know when you might be holding onto a hidden treasure. And third, if you ever feel like skipping over a weird-looking penny, remember my story and think twice. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more money-making coin secrets coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Also, drop a comment below. What's the coolest or most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. Alright, folks, listen up. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a little copper-colored penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.90 million? That's right, not a typo. One penny, almost 2 million bucks. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions like a pirate on a treasure hunt, let me tell you exactly what makes the 2017 D. Lincoln penny so valuable and how you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. I'll also share a personal story, because let's be honest, I've had my fair share of close calls with valuable coins. And let's just say, one of them still haunts me to this day. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why this penny is worth a fortune, but also how to avoid making the same mistake I did. It's a 2017 D. Lincoln penny. Now, if you're new to coin collecting, that D means it was minted in Denver. And no, not every 2017 D penny is worth $1 million, so don't go quitting your job just yet. But here's what makes one particular penny so special: the IT has a crazy mint error. This error is what collectors call a double die obverse, which is just a fancy way of saying that during the minting process, the design was stamped twice, slightly off from the first strike. This creates a doubling effect, particularly noticeable in Lincoln's eye, nose, and the lettering. If you've got one of these, congratulations, your penny just got a lot more interesting. But why would anyone pay almost $2 million for a penny? Well, that's the magic of rare coins. See, collectors go absolutely bonkers for unique mistakes, especially when they're from a modern year. A coin like this is the holy grail for error collectors because it's one of a kind. And when something is one of a kind in the collecting world, prices skyrocket. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story, just so you don't make the same mistake I did a few years ago. I was going through my pocket change, just casually looking for anything interesting, and I came across a shiny 2017 penny. I flipped it over, saw the Denver Mint mark, and thought, just another penny. So what did I do? I did the unthinkable. I spin it. Fast forward to a few weeks later, and I read about the exact error penny that had just sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time. I swear, my heart stopped. I raced back to the store where I had used that penny, fully prepared to buy back every single penny in their register. But, of course, my luck being what it is, it was long gone. To this day, I don't know if I had the penny, but let me tell you, that was a lesson learned the hard way. Look at the date and mint mark. It must be a 2017 D, not 2017 P or 2017 S. Check for doubling. Get yourself a magnifying glass and inspect Lincoln's face and the lettering for any weird doubling. Weigh your penny. A standard 2017 D penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly off, you might have a unique error. Consult a professional. If you think you've struck gold, or, well, copper-plated zinc, take it to a coin shop or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can officially verify its authenticity and tell you what it's worth. Now, if you find a regular 2017 D penny without any fancy errors, don't be too disappointed. It's still worth 1 cent, which is technically more than I got for my potentially valuable one since I gave it away like a fool. But in all seriousness, these error pennies prove one thing: there's treasure hiding in plain sight. The next time someone tells you that pennies are worthless, just remind them that one of these little guys is worth nearly $2 million. So, what did we learn today? 1. Always check your pennies. 2. If you find a weird-looking 2017 D, don't spend it like I did. And 3. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. You never know when a tiny piece of pocket change could turn into life-changing money. Now, before you rush off to dig through your coin jar, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I share more tips on coins worth money, how to spot rare errors, and the best coin collecting strategies to turn your hobby into a potential gold mine. And trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. I've got a story about a coin worth even more than this one. So, subscribe, like this video, and let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Who knows, maybe you've got $1 million coin hiding in your pocket right now. Alright, folks, I've got a crazy one for you today. The kind of story that makes you want to go digging through your old pennies, checking the lint in your couch cushions, and scanning your wallet like a man on a mission. Why? Because there's a coin worth $1 million just sitting out there, in your pocket change. Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the elusive 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You know, the one that could make you richer than your favorite uncle who's always bragging about his collection of stamps. Don't believe me? Stick around. I'm about to blow your mind. Now, I can already hear you. Wait, Isn't a 1973 penny just a penny? Well, my friend, this one's not your ordinary pocket change. There's a catch. It's got no mint mark, and that, in the world of coin collecting, is what makes it absolutely priceless. So, let's rewind a bit and break down how this all came to be. If you're anything like me, you've probably found a few pennies lying around that are worth, well, not much. Maybe the occasional lucky find, a 1943 copper penny or something, but you never thought you'd stumble across a $1 million GEM.IN 1973. Something bizarre happened at the US Mint. Normally, every penny should have a mint mark, showing where it was made, like a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But for a tiny batch of pennies that year, the mint forgot to put that mark on them. A really tiny mistake, but that mistake turned this penny into something incredibly rare. Now, you might be wondering, how did this happen? Well, I did some digging, no pun intended, and I learned that this error happened in a mix-up at the mint. They produced these pennies with no mint mark, and for whatever reason, they got out into circulation. That's where the magic happens. Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. If you've got something that's scarce, especially if it's an error coin like this one, you're looking at some serious value. Imagine it like this. You go to a yard sale, looking through dusty boxes of old stuff. You find a beat-up picture frame, and inside it, a first edition comic book worth thousands. It's that kind of surprise. And honestly, it's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what you're gonna find. Now, let's talk about the money. The moment you've all been waiting for. This little mistake from 1973, which was just a random hiccup at the mint, is now valued at around, drumroll please, $1 million. Yes, a single penny could be worth that much. And I'm not kidding. Some of these rare, mintless pennies have been auctioned off for insane prices, and the trend is only growing. You're at an auction, the room is full of serious collectors, the tension is thick, and then it happens. Someone raises their paddle. $1 million penny goes to the highest bidder. Imagine that feeling, right? The only thing left for you to do is find one of these bad boys. Now, I know you're thinking, how do I know if my 1973 penny has no mint mark? It's actually pretty simple. You're looking for a penny from 1973, one that has no mint mark on it, and here's the kicker. One that also has a little bit of wear but still looks decent enough for a collector to recognize its rarity. You're not gonna find this penny on the street corner or in your local convenience store. Nope. The collectors who know what they're doing, they're snatching these up fast. So, you've got to know what you're looking for. And lucky for you, I'm here to help. But isn't it hard to find a penny that rare? Yes and no. A lot of them were taken out of circulation once they became valuable, but a few still float around in the wild. And here's the best part. You might not even know you've got one. I actually have a story for you about a time I stumbled upon a rare coin, and trust me, it wasn't it was years ago. I walked into this local coin shop just to chat and maybe grab a few pennies for fun. I'm browsing the racks and talking to the shopkeeper when a guy walks in. He's just holding a bag of coins. No big deal. He dumps it all on the counter, and lo and behold, in the middle of this tangled mess of change was a 1955 double-die penny. I could hardly believe my eyes. Long story short, I didn't have the guts to buy it, but that penny ended up selling for thousands. That was the day I learned not to just look for the obvious stuff, but to dig deep and pay attention to the little things. If you find a 1973 penny with no mint mark, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine? It's crazy how something as small as a missing mint mark can make such a huge difference in value. And just like my own experience with that double-die penny, you never know what hidden gems you might come across, whether it's at a yard sale, a coin shop, or your own piggy bank. But here's the thing. Coin collecting is about more than just finding $1 million coin. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovering something rare, and the satisfaction of knowing your collection is growing. And hey, even if you don't find a $1 million penny, you're still building something valuable. If you're serious about coin collecting and want more tips on coins that are worth money, whether they're pennies, nickels, or rare quarters, you've got to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on the latest news, strategies, and discoveries that could put you one step closer to finding your own million-dollar gem. Trust me, I've got you covered. I've been doing this for years, and every day brings something new. So, if you want to stay ahead of the game, make sure you hit that bell notification too. And hey, if you find a 1973 penny with no mint mark, let me know. I might be a little jealous, but I'll congratulate you just the same. I've got a real gem for you. A coin that might just be sitting in your pocket right now, worth more than your car. I'm talking about the 1982 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, and this little copper nugget could be worth up to $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1 million for a penny. So, if you've been tossing around pennies like they're nothing, you might want to grab them all and take a closer look now. Before you start hunting down all those 1982 pennies, let's break down why this particular penny is so valuable, how to spot it, and if it really could land you a cool million. Spoiler alert. It might just, alright, let's set the stage. The year was 1982. Big hair, cassette tapes, and a little mistake at the US Mint. You see, the 1982 Lincoln penny is one of those quirky errors that happens once in a blue moon. The Mint produced pennies that year with a mix-up on their markings. Normally, every penny produced has a mint mark indicating which mint it came from, either the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, or the Denver Mint, with a D. But in 1982, a bunch of pennies were released from the Philadelphia Mint that, well, forgot to get a mint mark. The funny thing is, nobody noticed at first. It wasn't until coin collectors started really paying attention to the details of their collections that this little mystery penny started to get some serious attention. After all, it's the only year in the history of the Lincoln Penny series that this specific mistake happened. And what do we know about mistakes? They're rare, and rare things are often worth a lot of money. How can I tell if I've got one of these million-dollar pennies? And that's a great question. It's all about the details. If you've got a 1982 penny, start by checking the mint mark area. If it's missing the D for Denver or any other symbol, you could be looking at a very rare error coin. This penny should have been struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but they just forgot to put the mint mark on it. It's also worth noting that the 1982 penny comes in two different types of compositions. Some were made from copper, and others were made from a zinc-plated steel composition. The copper version tends to be the one you'll see more often, but the real prize is the rare no mint mark penny made from copper, since the error mostly happened with the copper composition. Here's the million-dollar question, literally. The current market value for a 1982 no mint mark penny, in mint condition, can go up to $1.1 million. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find that exact penny just lying around in your spare change, but it's still possible. The rarity of the coin, combined with its historical significance, drives the value up. And just to keep it real, this coin's value is not just determined by its rarity. It's also about its condition. A well-preserved penny, with no wear or tear, is way more valuable than one that's been through the laundry, the sidewalk, and a few rounds of penny tossing at your local bar. So, if you find one, protect it. Keep it in a safe place, maybe even in a coin holder, because the last thing you want to do is damage a coin that could make you a millionaire. Alright, I've got to be honest with you guys. A few years ago, I thought I had struck gold. I was going through some old pennies I found in my grandpa's drawer. You know, the ones you forget about until you start a coin collection. I thought I'd found a treasure chest of rare coins, including what I thought was a 1982 no mint mark penny. I got all excited, pulled out my magnifying glass, and started inspecting it like a coin detective. The whole time, I was imagining what I'd do with my newfound fortune. Well, turns out, the penny I had was just another regular 1982 with the D mint mark, and the whole thing ended in disappointment. But hey, I still learned something valuable. Sometimes, the coins you think are worth a lot might not be as special as you think. It's a good reminder to always double-check and do your research before getting too hyped about finding a treasure. But trust me, it could happen. And when it does, you'll want to be ready. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and while the 1982 no mint mark penny is a big one, it's definitely not the only coin out there worth money. If you've been tossing your change into a jar for years, now might be the time to start paying more attention. From rare quarters to unusual nickels, there are plenty of other coins that could bring in a small fortune. The key takeaway here is to stay curious. Look at your coins, learn what makes them valuable, and keep an eye out for any strange markings or errors. You never know when you might find something worth a small fortune. or even a huge fortune, like the 1982 no mint mark penny. Alright, I hope you guys are as excited as I am about this rare coin. If you've got some 1982 pennies lying around, now's the time to check them out. Maybe you'll find a hidden gem, or at least start to appreciate the value of the coins you've been tossing around for years. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks on finding valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of coin collecting strategies, coin values, and more cool stories to share with you. Don't miss out on the next big find. Subscribe now and join the community of coin collectors who are on the lookout for their next big treasure. You're at a yard sale, digging through a box of old pennies, and you come across a 1991 Lincoln penny. You think, hey, just another penny, no big deal, and toss it aside. But wait, what if I told you that very penny could be worth a whopping $1.2 million? Yeah, you heard that right. That tiny copper coin sitting in your hand could be worth more than some people's houses. Mind-blowing, right? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, this guy's pulling my leg, but trust me, it's the real deal. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to about the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, how it became one of the rarest pennies out there, and how you can spot one. Oh, and stay tuned because I'm also sharing some personal coin hunting stories. You know, the kind where you almost miss a big opportunity, but then bam, you strike gold. Alright, let's dive right into what makes this coin so special. So, most pennies from 1991 have a mint mark. If you look on the front of the coin, right under Lincoln's chin, you'll usually see a little letter, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But here's the thing. Some 1991 pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. This is what gives them their rarity and value. Now, you might be wondering, why would a penny not have a mint mark in the first place? Great question. The story behind this is that in 1991, there was a little mix-up at the minting process. A small batch of pennies made it out of the Denver Mint without their mint marks. Kind of like that one time you left your phone at home and you didn't realize it until you were halfway to work. But instead of being a mistake, this little whoops turned out to be a gold mine for collectors. It's estimated that there are only around 10 of these mint markless pennies floating around today, and since they're so rare, they can fetch up to $1.2 million if you find one in mint condition. Now, let's talk numbers. Why is this penny worth $1.2 million? Is it just because it doesn't have a mint mark? Well, no. It's a combination of rarity, demand, and the fact that there are a lot of people out there who absolutely love finding rare coins. The world of coin collecting is full of passionate people, and rare coins are worth a lot because of how hard they are to find. You know, I actually had my own experience with this sort of thing a while back. I was at a local coin shop when I came across a beat-up old penny in a jar. It was all crusty and looked like it had been through a million years of wear and tear. But something about it caught my eye, maybe the shine, or maybe just a gut feeling. I asked the owner to take a look, and it turned out to be a rare coin from the 1940s. Not worth $1.2 million, but definitely enough for me to walk out of there with a good deal. Trust your gut and take a second look at those meh pennies. Back to the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, though, its value has soared because of its scarcity. If you've ever thought about selling a rare coin, this is the kind of stuff that makes the coin market so exciting. So, let's say you're on the hunt for one of these bad boys. How do you know if you've got one? It's pretty simple, actually. If you've got a 1991 penny, check under Lincoln's chin. No mint mark? You've got yourself a possible gold mine. But here's the catch. You'll want to check the condition of the coin. The ones that are worth a ton are the ones in near-perfect, mint condition. That means no major scratches, no worn-out edges, and the details on Lincoln's face should be crisp. It's like finding a vintage baseball card. Condition is everything. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, where do I even look for coins like this? Well, my best advice is to start with coin shops, estate sales, and even online auctions. The internet has made coin collecting so much easier, and there's a ton of resources out there where you can check the authenticity and value of rare coins. So, why does this particular penny get so much buzz? Well, rarity plays a huge part, but there's also a certain level of intrigue and excitement about finding a coin that's literally worth millions. It's like finding buried treasure in your couch cushions. It's that wow factor that makes the coin so attractive to collectors. And you know what? It's not just the 1991 no-mint mark penny that's worth crazy amounts of money. There are tons of other pennies and rare coins out there just waiting for you to discover them. You just have to know what you're looking for. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Keep your eyes peeled for those little mistakes in minting because they can turn into huge finds. Whether you're scouring your change jar, hitting up yard sales, or visiting local coin shops, the world of rare coins is waiting for you. Now, I know you're probably itching to head out and start hunting for that elusive 1991 no-mint mark penny, but before you do, let me hit you with a little reminder. If you want more tips on rare coins, how to spot them, and what to do with them once you find them, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big coin tip that could turn your collection into a fortune. All right, folks, happy hunting, and may your pennies always be worth more than you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your coin-loving friends. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just one little copper-colored coin, could make you a millionaire? I know what you're thinking, yeah, right, and next you'll tell me my jar of pocket change is my retirement plan. But hear me out. There's a 1984 Lincoln penny out there, missing a mint mark, that has sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. And guess what? There could be more floating around just waiting to be found. Now, I don't know about you, but if there's a chance that a tiny piece of change sitting in my car's cup holder could pay off my mortgage, I'm checking every last one. So today, we're diving deep into the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Why it's so valuable, what to look for, and how you can cash in if you're lucky enough to have 1.0. And stick around because I'll be sharing a personal story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. Something that still haunts me to this day. You won't want to miss it. All right, grab your coin jars, put on your detective hats, and let's get started. Why is this penny worth over $1 million? So, let's address the big question. Why would anyone pay $1.3 million for a penny? Did it come with a genie inside? Does it grant superpowers? Not quite, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is special because it was struck without a mint mark, meaning it doesn't have the tiny D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark at that time. So what's the big deal? This specific 1984 penny was accidentally struck with a double die error, meaning the design was imprinted twice, slightly off from the first strike. This created a clear doubling effect on the letters and numbers, most notably on Lincoln's earlobe and the word Liberty. And because it was struck in pristine condition and perfectly preserved, collectors went absolutely bananas over it. Think of it like a rare baseball card. If it has a tiny misprint, it suddenly becomes a collector's dream. Same concept here. All right, now for the fun part. You might be sitting on this gold mine without even knowing it. The penny will not have a small letter, D or S, below the date. If it does, sorry, no jackpot for you. But don't toss it yet, because other pennies can be valuable too. Check Lincoln's earlobe. If it looks like he has a ghostly second earlobe, congratulations, you're in business. If the word Liberty and the numbers in the date, 1984, look like they've been printed twice, you just might have a winner. Even if you find one, it needs to be in excellent condition to fetch the big bucks. No scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no signs of your dog chewing on it. Now, let me tell you a little story that still makes me cringe. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car and found a bunch of old pennies mixed in with some stale French fries. Gross, I know. Without thinking, I tossed them into a tip jar at my local coffee shop. Fast forward a few weeks, I started getting into coin collecting, and I learned about a rare double-die penny from the same year as one I had thrown away. My heart dropped. I raced back to that coffee shop, hoping, praying, that my pennies were still in the jar. But of course, they were long gone. Now, do I know for sure that I tossed a valuable coin? No. But does it haunt me every time I see a 1984 penny? You bet it does. Check your change. You never know what you might be giving away for free. So, let's say you check your jar and bam, you've got one of these rare pennies. What now? Well, first of all, don't spin it at the vending machine. Okay? Use a magnifying glass or take it to a coin dealer for confirmation. Get it graded. If your penny is in excellent shape, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade will boost its value. Auction it off. Rare coins like this often go for the highest price at big auctions like heritage auctions or Stacksbowers. Trust me, if you've got one of these, collectors will be lining up to get their hands on it. So there you have it. Your pocket change might just be your payday. The 1984 no mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable era coins out there, and who knows? One could be hiding in your house right now. Now, I have a challenge for you. Grab your coin jar, dump it out, and start checking for that double earlobe Lincoln. If you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. And before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got more crazy coin finds and money-making collecting strategies coming your way. Who knows? Your next big treasure could be in your pocket right now. All right, folks, let me ask you a serious question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked? Because right now, sitting in someone's jar of pennies, in a couch cushion, or, heck, maybe even in your car's cup holder, there could be a 1981 no mint Mark Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's right, a single, ordinary-looking penny that could change your life. Now, before you go dumping your change jar all over the kitchen table, stick around because I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this rare penny, why it's so valuable, and most importantly, how you can find one. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Let me start with a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, minding my own business, grabbing a soda and a snack. The cashier handed me my change, and as usual, I did what most people do. I shoved the coins into my pocket without a second glance. But that night, I dumped out my change like I always do, and something caught my eye, a weird-looking 1981 penny. It just looked different. I thought, hey, let me check this thing out. And guess what? It wasn't worth much. But that moment changed the way I looked at coins forever. Because just a few months later, I learned about the 1981 no mint Mark Lincoln penny worth over $1 million. And from that moment on, I started checking every single penny. First things first, most pennies have a mint mark, a little letter under the year that tells you where it was made. But the 1981 no mint mark penny is a mystery. It shouldn't exist. Some experts believe it was a mistake, a slip-up at the U.S. Mint that allowed a few of these blank-looking pennies to escape into circulation. And when rare errors like this happen, collectors go wild. Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. The fewer there are, the higher the value. Over the years, collectors have been hunting for this elusive coin, and only a handful have ever been found in top-notch condition. And here's the kicker. One of these bad boys recently sold at auction for $1.40 million. Imagine that, turning a measly penny into life-changing money. Look under the year. If there's no mint mark, you might be onto something big. Inspect the condition. The better shape it's in, the more it's worth. Get it verified. If you think you have one, take it to a coin dealer or send it to a grading service and remember, every penny counts, so start checking those coin jars. Now, let's be real. Most of us probably won't stumble upon $1 million penny. But hey, you never know, right? Someone out there is holding on to this fortune and has no idea. So here's what I want you to do. Start checking your pennies today. Who knows? Your next gas station trip, your next handful of change from the grocery store, it could be your lucky break. And if you love learning about coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week with the latest coin collecting tips, strategies, and hidden treasures you might have in your pocket right now. All right, folks, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? No, seriously. I mean, really looked at them. Because if you've been ignoring those little copper coins, you might be missing out on a $1.50 million payday. That's right, a 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has been making waves in the coin collecting world. And if you've got one, you might just be holding on to a retirement plan in your pocket. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, no way a penny is worth that much. But trust me, after today's video, you'll be digging through every couch cushion, every old piggy bank, and maybe even bribing your grandma to check her coin jar. In this video, I'll break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can check if you have one of these rare gems sitting in your collection. And don't worry, I'll throw in a few laughs along the way, because let's be honest, we're talking about a penny being worth a mansion, and that's just wild. So, If you're ready to become a coin detective, let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, what's the deal with this coin? What makes a simple 1978 penny worth more than a brand new sports car? It all comes down to a minting mistake. See, most 1978 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints. Coins from Denver have a little D mint mark, and San Francisco ones have an S. But Philadelphia pennies? They usually don't have a mint mark, and that's where things get interesting. Normally, a no mint mark 1978 penny from Philly is just a regular penny. But there's a very specific error where the coin was struck using a rare die variation, and only a handful of these error coins made it out into circulation. This tiny mistake turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. How did it become worth $1.50 million? Now, you might be thinking, okay, rare coin cool, but why is it worth more than my car? A few years ago, a coin collector, let's call him Bob, was sorting through a huge batch of pennies, just doing his thing, when he spotted something strange. One of the 1978 pennies looked off. The details were sharper, the strike was different, and something about the metal composition felt unusual. Bob took it to a coin grading service and boom. Turns out, he had one of the only known 1978 no-mint mark error pennies. The penny went to auction, and collectors went crazy bidding for it. By the time the dust settled, that little copper coin sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Now, I don't know about you, but if I found $1 million penny, I wouldn't just be excited. I'd be ugly crying on the floor of my living room. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, okay, I need to check my pennies. And you'd be absolutely right. Look for a 1978 penny with an O mint mark. It should be in great condition, with sharp details. Examine the strike. The rare version has a more distinct design than regular 1978 pennies. Check the weight. This specific error coin has a slightly different metal composition than normal pennies. Get it authenticated. If you think you have one, take it to a professional coin grading service. And here's a tip, don't just check your own change. Ask friends and family if they have old coin jars lying around. Heck, ask your grandparents. They might have a hidden treasure just waiting to be found. So, there you have it, the legendary 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the tiny treasure that turned pocket change into a fortune. Now, before you rush off to dump your entire coin jar onto the floor, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I bring you the latest and greatest coin finds, collecting strategies, and of course, stories about coins that are worth big money. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Or are you about to raid your grandpa's old coin stash? Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard that right. A single 1952 Lincoln wheat penny has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1 million. That's right, 1 cent, 1 million bucks. Imagine buying a cup of coffee with a penny and walking away with change in the form of a sports car. Now, before you go raiding your couch cushions, let me tell you what makes this particular penny so special. But first, have you ever had one of those moments where you almost threw away something valuable? Let me tell you about the time I nearly tossed a rare coin into a Coinstar machine, and the panic that followed. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car and found a handful of old pennies. I figured, I'll just dump them into a Coinstar machine and get some cash. As I watched the machine gobble them up, I suddenly noticed something weird. A wheat penny in the mix. My brain went into full meltdown mode. Was it rare? Was I about to accidentally donate a small fortune to the Coinstar gods? I frantically started pressing buttons, trying to get my coins back. The guy behind me was not amused. "Buddy, it's a penny," he grumbled. Little did he know, that penny could have been worth thousands. Moral of the story: always check your change before cashing in. And that brings us back to today's topic, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny. Could one be hiding in your collection? Let's find out. Why is the 1952 penny worth $1 million? Most 1952 pennies are just regular old wheat cents, worth maybe a few cents to a few dollars in good condition. But one particular penny broke records. Minting error or ultra-rare variety, experts believe the $1 million penny could be a unique error coin, a proof strike, or a special die variety. These are the golden tickets in coin collecting. Pristine condition, MS, 68 or higher. The highest graded Lincoln wheat pennies fetch huge sums. If this 1952 S penny was kept in flawless condition, it could be the holy grail of wheat cents. Collector demand. When high-end collectors battle at auctions, prices skyrocket. If two deep-pocketed collectors both want the same coin, bidding wars happen, and that's when prices hit the stratosphere. What to look for in your 1952 S penny? So, how do you know if your 1952 S penny is just an ordinary cent or your ticket to early retirement? The S mint mark. This penny was minted in San Francisco. If your 1952 penny doesn't have an S under the date, it's not the one we're looking for. Check the condition. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not worth $1 million. But if it's shiny, uncirculated, and near perfect, you might have something special. Look for errors. Some high-value coins have doubling a double die, off-center strikes, or even missing elements. If your 1952 S penny looks odd, get it checked out. How to get your coin evaluated? Okay, so you've got a 1952 S penny. Now what? Check online price guides, websites like PCGS or NGC list coin values. Use a magnifying glass. A good loupe can reveal details you might miss. Get it professionally graded. If you think your penny is special, send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. A high grade could mean big bucks, so, my fellow treasure hunters, the next time you find an old wheat penny, don't just toss it in a jar. It might be worth more than you think. The 1952 S penny is proof that hidden gems are still out there, waiting to be found. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Let me know in the comments. And if you love learning about coins worth money, subscribe to the channel, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next big coin discovery. Who knows? Your next penny could be worth a fortune. All right, folks, grab your magnifying glasses and piggy banks because today we're talking about a coin that could change your life. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it's worth more than a brand new Ferrari. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened when a rare 1964 D. Lincoln penny was recently valued at a staggering $1.10 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. $1 million bucks? For a penny? You're messing with me. Nope, this is real. And before you start tearing apart your couch cushions looking for one, stick with me because I'm about to break down why this penny is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just have a small fortune sitting in a jar on your dresser. But first, let me tell you about the time I thought I found $1 million coin and ended up with 25 cents and a bruised EGO. So there I was, at my local flea market, digging through an old man's bin of junk coins, when I spotted a 1964 D penny that looked different. My heart was racing. I was already planning my retirement, thinking about the sports car I was gonna buy, and rehearsing my speech for when they put me on the news as that guy who found the $1 million penny. I walked up to the seller, trying to play it cool. "How much for this penny?" I asked, knowing full well that I was about to make the greatest deal of my life. I couldn't believe my luck. I handed over 25 cents faster than a kid at an ice cream truck, then raced home, eager to confirm my new millionaire status. Well, turns out, my big find was just a regular old 1964 D penny worth exactly 1 cent. My dreams of a private island? Gone. My plans for an early retirement? Poof. I basically paid 24 cents for a coin I could have found in my car's cup holder. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's rare. And that's exactly why I'm here today, to help you separate the real treasures from the ordinary pocket change. Now, what makes this specific 1964 D. Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? It comes down to a few key factors. The D mint mark means this penny was struck in Denver, but here's where it gets interesting. In 1964, the U.S. Mint was phasing out silver coins and making major changes to coin production. During this chaotic time, a small batch of Lincoln pennies was struck with a unique die variation, making them incredibly rare. What you really need to look for is a double die obverse, DDO, meaning the date and lettering on the front of the coin appear slightly doubled. This error happened when the die struck the penny twice, creating a subtle but valuable mistake. Even if you have a rare 1964 D penny, it won't hit the $1 million jackpot unless it's in near-perfect mint state condition. That means no scratches, no dents, and definitely no signs of being used to scratch off a lottery ticket. The truth is, a coin's value is only as high as what someone is willing to pay. In this case, a wealthy collector paid over $1 million for one of these pennies at an auction because it was the best-known example in existence. Look for the D mint mark under the date, 1964, D. Check for doubling on the letters and numbers, especially 1964, and Liberty. Examine the condition. If it looks like it's been through a washing machine, it's probably not the one. Use a magnifying glass or coin microscope to spot small details. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. So, there you have it. A simple penny could be your ticket to $1 million. But remember, rare coins are hiding in plain sight. You just need to know what to look for. And hey, if you love learning about coins worth money and strategies for finding hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips coming your way, and who knows? The next big discovery could be in your pocket right now. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some more flea market bins to dig through, because I still believe my $1 million penny is out there somewhere. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for spare change to buy a soda, and you stumble across a regular OL penny. You think, meh, just 1 cent? But hold on. What if I told you that 1 cent could actually be worth $1.2 million? Yeah, that's not a typo. A single 2016 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has been valued at over $1 million. And here's the kicker. You might have one sitting in your piggy bank right now. Stick around because today, we're breaking down why this humble penny is worth a fortune, how to check if you have one, and what to do if you strike it rich. And trust me, you don't want to be the guy who spends $1 million penny on a pack of gum. Body my own close call with a rare penny now. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, let me tell you about a time I almost made the biggest mistake of my life. A few years ago, I was rolling up some pennies to take to the bank. You know, just clearing out that junk drawer. Well, I had this one odd-looking penny, kinda shinier than the rest, but I didn't think much of it. Luckily, right before I dumped it into the roll, I decided to check it out. Turns out, it was a 1992 close AM penny, worth thousands. Ever since then, I double-check every single penny I come across. And trust me, after today's video, you will tune out what's so special about the 2016 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Alright, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so valuable. The 2016 penny features good OL, Abraham Lincoln on the front. Nothing unusual there. It has no mint mark. Now, normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so that's not the shocking part. The real reason this coin is so special is because of a rare, unintentional die error that created an ultra-rare variety. The U.S. Mint struck a very small batch of these pennies using a one-of-a-kind misaligned or double die. This error created subtle distortions in the coin's design. Things like extra thickness in letters, slightly shifted details, or even doubling on certain parts of the coin. Collectors go crazy over these rare mistakes because they're so hard to find. Okay, now for the juicy part, the value. Most 2016 pennies are, well, still worth 1 cent. But the rare error variety has skyrocketed in price. One verified example sold at auction for a mind-blowing $1.20 million. That means if you're out here buying a coffee with exact change, and you hand over one of these without realizing it, you just made the most expensive cup of coffee in history. How to check if you have the $1 million penny alright? So how do you know if you have one of these golden ticket pennies? No mint mark. It should be a 2016 penny with no mint mark under the date. Look for errors. You'll need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for doubling, extra thickness in the letters, or any weird misalignments. Professional verification. If you think you have one, don't just list it on eBay for $1 million and hope for the best. Get it authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies verify rare coins and slap an official grade on them. So, let's say you're one of the lucky few who actually finds this rare penny. First of all, take a deep breath. Don't go spinning it on a cheeseburger just yet. Don't clean it. Seriously, don't even think about scrubbing that coin. A single scratch can destroy its value. Store it properly. Put it in a coin holder or a protective case to keep it in mint condition. Get it graded. Reach out to a professional coin grading company for authentication. Auction it. If your coin is the real deal, you're looking at a life-changing payday. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers specialize in selling rare coins. So, there you have it. Your penny jar might just be hiding $1 million treasure. Imagine that. One minute, you're counting loose change. The next, you're buying a house with a single coin. It's like winning the lottery, except the ticket was sitting in your junk drawer this whole time. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Drop a comment below. I love hearing these stories. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth real money, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden treasure tip. Alright, folks, I have to ask, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? No, I mean really looked at them, not just dumping them in that mystery jar on your dresser or letting them roll under your car seat. Well, if you've been ignoring your pennies, you might want to change that habit real quick, because one of them, yes, a humble 1969 D. Lincoln cent, sold for $1.3 million. That's right, a single penny, worth more than a mansion, a Ferrari, and probably your entire college debt wiped clean. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny? Really? But trust me, this isn't some urban legend or a get-rich-quick scheme. These rare coins are out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to dig them up. So today, we're diving into what makes this 1969 D. Lincoln penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and of course, my own tragic but hilarious story about how I almost had a jackpot penny and totally blew it. Buckle up, coin hunters. This one's going to be a wild ride. Now, if you're new to coin collecting, you might be wondering, what could possibly make a simple penny worth over $1 million? Well, the answer lies in errors and rarity, the two golden rules of valuable coins. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny is special because of a major doubling error on the obverse, or front, of the coin. This is called a double die, not to be confused with a double strike, which is something totally different. The key detail? Look at Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they have a shadow or are slightly doubled, congratulations, you might have a life-changing penny in your hands. Not every 1969 D penny has this error, far from it. In fact, there are only a handful known to exist. Most 1969 D pennies are just worth their face value, maybe a couple of bucks in high grades. But if you get one of these rare double dies, cha-ching, you just hit the jackpot. What makes this even crazier is that for years, the US government actually thought these pennies were counterfeit. Yep, the Secret Service got involved, thinking someone was up to no good. But eventually, they realized these were legitimate mint errors, and collectors went crazy trying to find them. Alright, time for a quick personal story, because what's a good coin video without a little heartbreak? So, years ago, before I got really deep into coin collecting, I had this old jar of pennies sitting in my kitchen. You know, the classic, I'll roll these up someday, jar that just collects dust. Well, one day, I decided to actually go through them. And lo and behold, I found a 1969 D penny with some weird doubling on it. Now, I wasn't super educated about errors at the time, but I thought, this might be worth something. So what did I do? I took it to a local pawn shop. The guy takes one look at it and goes, this ain't the kind of doubling collectors want. I'll give you $5 for it. Like an absolute fool, I took the deal, thinking, hey, $5 is better than 1 cent, right? Fast forward a few years, and I learn about the real 1969 D double die penny. And guess what? That guy probably made a killing off of my mistake. Lesson learned, always do your own research before selling a coin. Alright, so now that you know my embarrassing story, let's make sure you don't make the same mistake. Here's what you need to look for. Must be a 1969 D Denver Mint. Look at the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. If they look doubled, you might be in business. The better the condition, the higher the value. Coins in mint state, MS, grades fetch the highest prices. If you think you have one, don't take it to just any pawn shop like I did. Get it certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC.so. There you have it, folks. Proof that checking your pocket change can literally change your life. A tiny, unassuming penny from 1969 with a little doubling error can be worth over $1 million. And the best part? There are still some out there waiting to be discovered. Now, before you go running to dump out your coin jar, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always dropping tips on coins worth serious money, collecting strategies, and, of course, sharing my own ridiculous coin collecting mishaps so you don't have to make the same mistakes. And hey, if you've ever had a close call with a rare coin, let me know in the comments. Did you find a valuable one? Did you sell it too soon like I did? Let's commiserate together. All right, folks, buckle up because today, we're talking about a penny. Yes, a humble, everyday, drop it in the couch cushion penny. But not just any penny. This bad boy is worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's right, one little coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a dream car, or even let you live like a king, or at least like a very fancy peasant. Wait, I have pennies. Could I be sitting on a fortune and not even know it? Maybe. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where to check, and how to avoid accidentally spending a fortune on a pack of gum. But first, let me tell you a little story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. Because, trust me, you don't want to make the same mistake. I'm at the grocery store, paying for my snacks, the essentials, chips, soda, and maybe something green so I can say I'm eating healthy. The cashier hands me my change, and I do what any normal person does. I shove it into my pocket without a second thought. Later that night, I'm dumping my pockets out, and one penny catches my eye. Something about it just looked different. But instead of taking a closer look, I did the unthinkable. I tossed it into the coin jar. Fast forward a few days, and I'm scrolling through coin news, normal bedtime reading, when I see a headline about a rare penny selling for thousands. My heart stopped. I ran to that jar like my life depended on it. And guess what? My special-looking penny? Gone. Spent. Probably now in the hands of some lucky person who had no idea they were holding a small fortune. Lesson learned. Never underestimate your change. And today, I'm making sure you don't make the same mistake. Body. What makes the 2015 mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $1.40 million? So what's the deal with this 2015 penny? Why is it worth more than a mansion in some parts of the country? Here's the breakdown. This isn't just any 2015 penny. It's got a very special mint mark. Now, most pennies from 2015 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But this rare version? It's got a unique, misplaced, or double mint mark. Something that shouldn't be there. That tiny little mark is what's making collectors go absolutely nuts. It's like a golden ticket but in copper form. Coin errors are like typos in history books. They shouldn't happen, but when they do, they become priceless. In the case of this penny, there's an unusual doubling effect on the mint mark, making it a true rarity. Collectors love these mistakes because they're one of a kind. It's like finding a Picasso where he accidentally painted an extra eyeball on someone. It's weird, it's rare, and it's worth a fortune. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever touched, let me warn you, condition matters. If your penny looks like it's been chewed up by a lawnmower, it's probably not hitting that $1 million mark. The most valuable 2015 mint Mark penny that sold for $1.4 million was in nearly perfect condition. That's why checking your pocket change early is key, because the longer it's out in the wild, the more it gets worn down. Grab a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone. You're looking for that doubling or misprint on the mint mark. If you see something unusual, you might have a winner. Check the condition. The closer to mint condition, the better. Compare it to verified images. Look up pictures of the known 2015 rare penny to match it up. Get it authenticated. If you think you've struck gold, or copper, in this case, take it to a professional coin grader. Conclusion: don't let a fortune slip through your fingers. So there you have it. That little penny sitting in your cup holder or hiding in your couch cushions could be worth more than $1 million. But only if you take the time to check. And if you love learning about hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, make sure to subscribe. I've got plenty more coin tips, rare finds, and strategies to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. So go check your pennies and let me know in the comments. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next $1 million discovery. All right, folks, buckle up because today, we're diving into one of the biggest coin collecting mysteries of our time. Imagine this. You're digging through your old jar of pennies, just looking for some spare change for the parking meter and BAM. You find a coin that could be worth $1.5 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that dream is a reality for one lucky penny. And here's the kicker. It's not some ancient coin from the 1700s or a rare gold piece from a sunken pirate ship. Nope, it's a 1985 Lincoln penny. Yeah, the same kind you probably have sitting in your couch cushions right now. But this isn't just any 1985 penny. It has a rare mint mark error that makes it one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. So today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about this millionaire-making coin. What makes it so special? How do you find one? And most importantly, how do you cash in if you do? And stick around, because I've got a personal story about a time I almost hit the jackpot with a rare penny, but ended up with a heartbreak instead. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. The mystery behind the 1985 mint mark penny. So, what exactly makes this 1985 penny worth more than a luxury sports car? It all comes down to a mint mark error. Now, for those of you who are new to coin collecting, the mint mark is that tiny letter on a coin that tells you where it was made. Usually, it's a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. But this particular 1985 penny has something unusual, a misplaced or repunched mint mark. That means the original mint mark was struck. But then, oops, somebody at the US Mint gave it a second tap, slightly shifting it. It sounds like a small mistake, but in the world of coin collecting, tiny details like this can mean big bucks. Here's where things get crazy. Out of the millions and millions of 1985 pennies in circulation, only a handful of these misprinted coins have been found. That's why collectors are willing to pay a fortune for them. And when I say a fortune, I mean it. In a recent auction, one of these pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Let that sink in. A penny, something you probably ignore when you see it on the sidewalk, is worth more than a mansion. Now, before you go tearing through every penny jar in your house, let me tell you how to spot one. Grab a magnifying glass. If you don't have one, now's the time to invest. It might just make you a millionaire. Look at the mint mark. If you have a 1985 penny with a visible D mint mark, check if it looks doubled, slightly shifted, or repunched. That's the golden ticket. Step 3. Check the condition. The cleaner and shinier your coin, the higher the value. A well-preserved coin with a strong error can fetch the biggest bucks at auction. And hey, if you're not sure what you're looking at, take it to a coin expert. Better safe than sorry, right? My almost millionaire penny story, all right. Now let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot with a penny a few years ago. I was sorting through a big bag of pennies I got from the bank, just doing my usual treasure hunting, and lo and behold, I spot a 1985 penny with a weird-looking mint mark. My heart started racing. My hands got all sweaty. I was already picturing myself driving off in a brand new sports car, waving goodbye to my old clunker. So, I rushed to get it checked by a coin dealer. I'm expecting him to gasp, maybe even faint from excitement. Instead, he takes one look and says, "Yeah, this is just dirt." Yup, dirt. Turns out, my rare mint mark was just a smudge. I went from millionaire dreams to realizing I needed to clean my coins better. Lesson learned, folks. First, always check your change. You never know when a tiny penny could be worth a fortune. Second, get yourself a magnifying glass and start searching. The odds are slim, but hey, someone's got to find the next rare 1985 penny. Why not you? And finally, if you love learning about valuable coins and coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your change, maybe looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter, and boom, you stumble upon a penny that could make you a millionaire. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because today, we're talking about the 1995 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that's been turning heads in the collector world, with reports of one selling for a staggering $1.60 million. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your couch cushions, let's break down exactly why this coin is worth so much, how you can tell if you have one, and what makes it so special. Oh, and stick around because I've got a funny personal story about a time I nearly threw away a coin worth big bucks. Trust me, You don't want to make that mistake, so first things first, what's the deal with this penny? Normally, a 1995 D Lincoln cent is worth, well, 1 cent. But every now and then, a rare mistake or unique characteristic makes a coin worth life-changing money. In this case, we're talking about an ultra-rare mint error that turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream point. One of the biggest factors here is double die obverse errors, meaning some 1995 pennies were struck with a doubling effect on the lettering in Lincoln's profile. But hold on, before you start squinting at your pennies, the $1 million version of this coin isn't just any double die. It's an extreme, one-of-a-kind variety with multiple factors at play. A rare and dramatic double die obverse, a unique misalignment of the D mint mark in incredibly well-preserved condition, graded at nearly perfect mint state. Most 1995 double die pennies sell for around $50 to $100 in good condition. But this particular 1995 D penny had such a dramatic error and was so well preserved, it went for $1.6 million at auction. Now, let's talk about how you can check your change for one of these hidden treasures. You don't need fancy equipment, just your eyes, maybe a magnifying glass, and a bit of patience. Doubling in Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look blurry or like they have a shadow, you might have something special, a misplaced or misaligned D mint mark. This is a key giveaway of a rare variety. Mint condition. If your penny looks like it just rolled off the press yesterday, that's a good sign. Now, if you think you've got one, do not just toss it into a Coinstar machine. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC to determine its true value. Okay, now for that personal story I promised. A few years back, I was rolling up some change to take to the bank. You know, the usual, dumping pennies into those paper rolls, not thinking much of it. Well, right before I cashed them in, my friend, who's also a collector, decided to sift through my pile. And guess what? I had a rare double die penny sitting there, just seconds away from being turned into pocket change. It wasn't worth millions, but it was a solid $300 coin. I nearly lost out on hundreds of dollars because I wasn't paying attention. Imagine if it had been a $1.6 million penny. I'd still be crying. So, what have we learned today? First, not all pennies are worthless. Some could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Second, if you've got a 1995 D penny, take a close look. You might be sitting on a small fortune. And third, never underestimate pocket change. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I break down the best coin collecting strategies, share crazy stories from the numismatic world, and help you find hidden treasure right in your spare change. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Alright, coin lovers, buckle up, because today we're talking about a penny that could turn you into a millionaire. That's right, a 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Wait, I've got pennies lying around everywhere. In my couch cushions, under my car seat, probably in that weird junk drawer in the kitchen. But before you go flipping every penny you've ever touched, let's break down why this particular coin is so special, how you can identify it, and whether you might be sitting on a fortune. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be double-checking your change every time you leave the grocery store. The mystery of the 1986 no-mint mark penny. So, what makes this penny worth $1.7 million? After all, 1986 wasn't that long ago. It's not some ancient relic from the Roman Empire. It's just a penny, right? Well, not exactly. See, in 1986, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proof coins. But here's where it gets crazy. A very small batch of Philadelphia pennies was struck with a unique error, a missing mint mark and an unusual die variation that collectors are going absolutely wild over. Now, you might be wondering, but wait, aren't all Philly pennies missing a mint mark? Yes. Normally, Philadelphia pennies from this era don't have a mint mark, but the specific error in the strike and composition of this rare batch sets them apart. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card. Most cards look normal, but that one weird one with an upside-down logo? That's the one collectors will pay thousands, even millions, for. Okay, so let's talk details. What should you look for if you want to find this ultra-rare coin? No mint mark. As expected, it has no mint mark, but what makes it special is the die characteristics. Unusual strike. The coin has a slight misalignment in the strike, giving it a unique appearance compared to regular 1986 pennies. Different composition. Some of these rare pennies were struck on a bronze planchet instead of the usual zinc-coated copper planchet. That alone makes them rare. So, if you've got an old 1986 penny, grab a magnifying glass and examine it carefully, because if you find this rare version, you might just become a millionaire overnight. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was digging through an old jar of change my grandpa left behind. It was one of those big mason jars that sat on a shelf collecting dust for decades. I thought, maybe I'll find a wheat penny or two. And sure enough, I found a 1943 steel penny. My heart was racing. Could this be the legendary copper 1943 penny worth millions? I rushed to check its weight, took a deep breath, and nope. It was just the standard steel one, worth a few bucks, but definitely not life-changing. Never underestimate your pocket change, because you never know. The next rare coin could be sitting right in front of you. Alright, so back to the 1986 no mint mark penny. How much is it worth? Circulated condition. These are still worth face value, just 1 cent. Nothing crazy. Mint condition, MS65 or higher. Now we're talking hundreds to thousands of dollars. Ultra-rare error versions. This is where things get wild. One of these pennies, with the rare composition error, was valued at $1.7 million in a private auction. That means if you find one in your spare change, you could be sitting on a life-changing fortune. So, what's the moral of today's story? Check your change. You never know when a simple penny could be worth more than a house. And if you love learning about coins worth money and coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare penny? I'd love to hear your stories. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some old pennies to go through, because who knows? Maybe I'm sitting on $1 million treasure and don't even know it. Alright, folks, gather round because today, we're talking about a penny. But not just any penny. Oh no, this little copper hero from 1968 has a story to tell. A story so wild, so unbelievable, that it could make you rethink every single penny you've ever tossed in a jar, a couch cushion, or, heaven forbid, the take a penny, leave a penny tray. A penny? Worth $1.6 million? Yep, you heard me right. And before you go sprinting to your coin stash, stick with me because I'm going to break down exactly why this coin is so special, how to spot one, and what you should do if you're lucky enough to have one hiding in plain sight. But first, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a rare coin. A few years ago, I was sorting through some old change when I found a weird-looking penny. It had some odd doubling on the lettering, and the color just seemed different. Now, I'm no stranger to checking my coins, but I was in a rush that day, so I did what any rational person would do. I tossed it in a jar and forgot about it. Fast forward a few weeks, and I'm watching an auction where a similar-looking penny sells for thousands of dollars. My heart stops. I bolt to the coin jar like my life depends on it, and guess what? The jar was empty. My wife had cashed it in at the grocery store Coinstar machine. Folks, I still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about it. Moral of the story? Always check your change. What makes the 1968 Lincoln penny so valuable? Now, let's talk about the real star of the show, the 1968 Lincoln penny. What makes this coin worth a jaw-dropping $1.60 million? This penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, hence the little S beneath the date. But here's where it gets juicy. Some of these coins were struck using proof dies, meaning they were intended for collectors, not general circulation. Yet, somehow, a few of these sneaky little pennies made it into everyday pocket change. What makes this particular 1968 penny worth the big bucks is a rare proof strike error. Normally, proof coins have crisp, mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. But these rogue pennies were accidentally mixed in with regular business strikes, making them one of the rarest errors in modern U.S. coin history. As with all valuable coins, condition is key. The record-breaking 1968 penny that sold for $1.6 million was in pristine, nearly perfect condition, graded MS 69 by PCGS. That's like finding a brand new classic car that's never left the showroom floor. All right, so now that we've got your heart racing, let's talk about how you can spot one of these rare pennies. The 1968 date with an S mint mark below it, a sharper, more detailed strike. Since it was made using proof dyes, a shiny, mirror-like surface, though some may look more like regular pennies due to circulation where mint damage or post-mint alterations, errors add value, but damage kills it. If you suspect you've got a 1968 S Lincoln penny that could be worth serious cash, here's what you should do next. Scrubbing a rare coin is like washing a Picasso with dish soap. Just don't. Get it authenticated. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its legitimacy. Check recent sales. The value of rare coins fluctuates based on demand. Even if yours isn't $1 million piece, it could still fetch thousands. Consider an auction. If you've truly hit the jackpot, auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers could help you maximize its value. LUSIO and all right, coin collectors and treasure hunters. We've reached the end of today's deep dive into the legendary 1968 S Lincoln penny. If you're anything like me, you're probably already rummaging through your piggy bank, junk drawer, or that old coffee can full of change. And hey, I don't blame you. $1.6 million is nothing to sneeze at. Now, before you go, let's make a deal. If you love learning about rare coins and want more tips on finding hidden treasures in your spare change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more money-making coin strategies coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. And if you find a rare penny after watching this, you owe me lunch. You're sifting through your pocket change and suddenly, you stumble upon a penny that's worth a whopping $1.7 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Is it really the golden ticket we've all been hoping for? Let's find out together. First things first, let's get to know this coin. The 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In that year, over 6 billion of these pennies were minted, making them quite common in circulation. The absence of a mint mark simply indicates its Philadelphia origin, as the Philly Mint didn't use mint marks on pennies during that period. Now, onto the burning question. Could this humble coin really fetch $1.7 million? While there have been rumors and sensational headlines suggesting such astronomical values, the reality is a bit more grounded. The standard 1988 no mint mark penny, especially those that have been in circulation, typically holds its face value. Just 1 cent, however, certain exceptional specimens can command higher prices. For instance, a 1988 penny-graded MS69RD, a nearly perfect coin, sold for over $7,000 in 2021. But these are exceedingly rare and must be in pristine, uncirculated condition. The real excitement comes when we explore error coins and unique varieties. Some 1988 pennies exhibit intriguing anomalies that can increase their value. Some 1988 pennies were struck with a reverse design intended for the 1989 coins. This variety, often referred to as the reverse of 1989, or flared G, features a distinct G in the designer's initials on the reverse. Collectors prize these coins, and they can fetch a premium depending on their condition. Occasionally, a coin may display doubling in its design elements due to a misalignment during the minting process. A notable example is the 1988 penny with a doubled ear on Lincoln's portrait. Such errors are sought after by collectors and can significantly increase a coin's value. Let me share a little story. A few years back, I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic when we stumbled upon an old jar filled with pennies. Among them was a shiny 1988 no mint mark penny. My heart raced as I imagined it being the elusive $1 million coin. After some research and a visit to a local coin dealer, I learned it was a standard issue worth 1 cent. While it wasn't the treasure I had hoped for, the experience ignited my passion for coin collecting and the thrill of the hunt. While the 1988 no mint mark penny isn't likely to make you a millionaire overnight, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Unique errors and rare varieties can turn ordinary coins into valuable collectibles. So, next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look. You never know what hidden gems you might find. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin lore and want to uncover more secrets about coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts, and let's explore the fascinating world of numismatics together. All right, folks, gather around because today we're talking about a humble little penny that could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard that right. Imagine checking your pocket change, finding a 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and then realizing it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's not just lunch money. That's quit your job, buy a yacht, and name it Lucky Penny money now. Before you go dumping out every piggy bank in the house, let's break this down. What makes this penny so special? How do you know if you have one? And more importantly, how do you turn that tiny piece of copper into cold, hard cash? Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and maybe even become a millionaire in the process. A penny for your thoughts, or $1.80 million. First, let's talk about why this 1984 penny is worth more than a brand new Ferrari. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, and that's not unusual. But this particular coin has a rare error that makes it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. The key to identifying this coin is the double die obverse error. Sounds fancy, right? All it really means is that during the minting process, the design on the front of the penny was accidentally stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect, especially on Lincoln's ear and the word Liberty. If you've got one of these bad boys, congratulations. You might be sitting on a fortune. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show, just browsing around, when an older gentleman walked up with a little Ziploc bag of pennies. He was convinced they were nothing special, just some change he had lying around. But guess what? Right there, buried among the common cents, was a 1984 no-mint mark double die penny. The man had no idea what he was holding. Long story short, he ended up selling it for over six figures, and I'll never forget the look on his face. It was that mix of disbelief and pure joy, kind of like finding out your lottery ticket actually hit. How to spot the $1.8 million penny in your pocket, all right. Now that I've got your attention, let's talk about how you can check if you've got one of these valuable pennies. Look at Lincoln's ear. The easiest way to spot the doubling is by checking Abe's ear. If it looks like he's got two ears or a weird shadow effect, that's a good sign. Check the word Liberty. If the letters look like they have a ghostly twin slightly offset, you might have hit the jackpot. Examine In God We Trust. Doubling can sometimes appear on the motto as well, so don't skip this detail. Use a magnifying glass or loupe. Some doubling is easy to see with the naked eye, but a magnifying glass will make it crystal clear. And if you think you've got one, don't go running to the nearest pawn shop just yet. Take it to a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated and graded. The better the condition, the higher the value. So if your penny looks shiny and new, you're in luck. Current market value. Why $1.80 million? Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. Why is this coin worth that much? It's just a penny. Great question. The reason this particular penny is so valuable is because of its extreme rarity and demand from collectors. Only a handful of these have been found in top condition, and as more collectors scramble to get their hands on one, the price keeps climbing. A lower-grade 1984 double die penny can sell for $50 to $100. A nice, uncirculated one can go for $1,000 to $10,000. But the highest-graded specimens? That's where the big money is. In 2024, an MS-68 example, nearly perfect, sold for a staggering $1.8 million at auction. So if you've got an old penny jar at home, now is the time to start digging. Who knows? That coffee can in your garage might be hiding your ticket to millionaire status. All right, my fellow coin hunters, now you know the secret of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It might look like just another penny, but if you find one with that special doubling, you could be looking at a life-changing amount of money. So here's what I want you to do. Go check your pocket change, your piggy banks, your couch cushions, heck, even that cup holder in your car that's basically a coin graveyard. If you find one, get it checked out, because you never know. You might just be the next lucky collector to cash in big. And if you love learning about coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a tip on valuable coins and collecting strategies. I've got plenty more treasure hunting secrets coming your way, so stay tuned. Have you ever found a random penny in your pocket, tossed it on the dresser, and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny little penny, yes, the kind you ignore at the bottom of your cup holder, could be worth a life-changing $1.90 million? That's right. Today, we're talking about the elusive 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. This is no ordinary penny. It's a collector's jackpot, and if you've got one, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your house, let me tell you how to spot one, why it's so valuable, and, most importantly, how you could cash in. And stick around, because I'm going to share a wild story about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin without even realizing it. Trust me, you don't want to make that mistake. First things first, what exactly makes this penny so special? The 2008 Lincoln penny was part of the last batch before the U.S. Mint switched to the special four-design Lincoln Bicentennial series in 2009. Most 2008 pennies were minted in either Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver, D mint mark, and normally, a regular no mint mark penny is just, well, a penny. But then, something strange happened. A small number of these pennies were struck with an ultra-rare, nearly flawless error. A missing mint mark that wasn't just a result of standard Philadelphia minting, but rather a unique, unexplained error. The details? Still a mystery. But what we do know is that these error coins were never meant to exist. And when something rare slips through the cracks, collectors go crazy for it, and crazy they went. Because in recent years, one of these rare no-mint mark 2008 pennies sold for an astonishing $1.9 million at auction. That's enough to buy a dream house, a fancy sports car, or, if you're like me, an absolutely ridiculous amount of tacos. So, how do you know if you've got one of these legendary pennies? No mint mark, it should be missing the little P or D under the date. Perfect strike in condition. The rarest versions have almost no signs of wear. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine, probably not a winner. Sharp details, the portrait of Lincoln should be crisp, and the lettering should be well defined. Copper composition. Most 2008 pennies are zinc-coated with copper, but the rarest errors have a solid copper composition. If you think you have one, don't just toss it in a jar. Get it professionally graded. Because let's be real, finding $1 million penny and not getting it authenticated is like winning the lottery and losing the ticket. Alright, now for the personal story I promised you. A few years back, I was cleaning out my old coin jar. You know, the one we all have, full of loose change, gum wrappers, and probably an old button. I wasn't really paying attention, just scooping coins into a Coinstar machine. But right before I dumped the last handful, something caught my eye. An older-looking penny with a weird, off-center strike. I hesitated, pulled it out, and figured, I'll check it later. Later turned into months. That penny sat in my junk drawer until one day, I got curious, looked it up, and bam! It was worth over $300. Now, I know that's not $1.9 million, but can you imagine if I had tossed a six-figure or even seven-figure penny into that machine? Moral of the story? Check your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. So, there you have it, folks. The 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable modern pennies out there. If you've got one, you could be looking at a massive payday. Before you run off to dig through your couch cushions, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more videos coming up on rare coins worth big bucks, collecting tips, and strategies to help you turn pocket change into profit. And if you've ever found a rare coin before, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Who knows, maybe you're sitting on the next $1 million coin. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe looking for lunch money, maybe just procrastinating on your to-do list, and boom, you spot a regular old 1971 Lincoln penny. No big deal, right? Wrong. Because if you have the right one, you might just be holding a coin worth $2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $2 million for a penny. And today, we're gonna dive deep into why this coin is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and what you should do if you hit the jackpot. Plus, I'll share a little personal story about how I almost threw away a valuable penny. Yeah, that happened. So stick around, because this is one story you don't want to miss. First things first, what makes this penny so special? I mean, it looks just like every other Lincoln cent, right? Well, not exactly. The key detail is the missing mint mark. Back in 1971, the U.S. Mint was pumping out pennies like there was no tomorrow. Most of them had a small S, San Francisco, or D, Denver, mint mark, but a few rare ones slipped through the cracks without any mint mark at all. And when I say a few, I mean extremely rare. Now, normally, a missing mint mark isn't a huge deal. But in this case, the rarity, condition, and demand from collectors skyrocketed the value to an insane $2 million. Yep. This little copper beauty is worth more than some mansions, sports cars, and definitely more than my entire wardrobe combined. Alright, so now you're probably eyeballing every 1971 penny in your couch cushions. And you should be. But here's how you separate a jackpot coin from a plain old penny. Check for the missing mint mark. If your 1971 penny doesn't have a D or S under the date, congratulations, you're one step closer to retirement. Look for a double die error. Some of these pennies also have a doubling effect on the lettering. If you see a ghost-like blur on Liberty or In God We Trust, you just leveled up. Condition is everything. If your penny looks like it survived a war, it might not be worth much. But if it's in pristine condition, well, let's just say you might want to start browsing yachts. Why almost tragic penny story. Speaking of condition, let me tell you a quick story about the time I almost threw away a valuable penny. So, a few years back, I was cleaning out my car, because let's be honest, it was basically a mobile junk drawer. And I found an old penny stuck between the seats. It was crusty, it was dirty, and it looked like it had been through 5 natural disasters. I almost tossed it, but something told me to check first. And guess what? It was a 1971 no-mint mark penny. Okay, it wasn't worth $2 million, but it was still worth a few $100. And that, my friends, is why you never ignore a penny. What should you do if you find one? Alright, let's say you strike gold, or, well, copper. What now? Don't clean it. I repeat, do not clean the coin. Collectors want original condition, and cleaning it could ruin its value. Get it authenticated. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify it's the real deal. Consider selling it. Auctions, coin dealers, and private collectors would love to get their hands on this coin. You could walk away with life-changing money. So, there you have it. The story of the $2 million Lincoln penny. It's rare, it's valuable, and it could be hiding literally anywhere. Maybe even in your pocket right now. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post regular updates on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and how you can turn pocket change into a fortune. And hey, next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. It might just be the best decision you ever make. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. How often do you actually check your pocket change? I mean, really look at it? If you're anything like I used to be, you probably just toss your pennies in a jar, forget about them, and one day hope they magically turn into a mortgage payment. Well, today, I'm going to tell you why you might want to take a second look at those little copper-colored coins, because one very special 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is now worth a staggering $2.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. One single penny. And the craziest part? You could have one sitting in your couch cushions right now. Now, before you start flipping your furniture upside down, let me break down why this coin is worth a fortune, how to spot one in, most importantly, how to cash in if you hit the jackpot. And stick around, because I'm also going to share a personal story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands. That one still stings, folks. But hey, you live and learn. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 2015 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, but here's the catch. Most Philly-minted pennies don't have a mint mark. So what makes this one different? Well, this particular penny has a rare minting error that collectors are willing to pay insane money for. Imagine you're working in a factory and you're making, I don't know, peanut butter jars. Most of them come out looking normal, but every once in a while, a machine messes up and prints the label upside down. That misprinted jar suddenly becomes a collector's item, same peanut butter, but now it's worth way more. That's basically what happened with this 2015 penny. Some of these pennies were struck with an error called a double die obverse, which means Lincoln's face and other design elements look slightly doubled. Others were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, making them weigh differently than normal pennies. And then there are some with crazy off-center strikes or missing letters. The key is that these errors are super rare, like finding a parking spot at Walmart on a Saturday rare. Now, here's the part where you might want to grab a magnifying glass, or at least squint real hard at your pennies. First, check for any doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or the words "In God We Trust." If anything looks blurry or doubled, you might have a winner. Second, weigh the penny. A normal 2015 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if yours weighs anything different, especially if it's closer to 3.1 grams, you might have a rare transitional error where they used the wrong metal planchet. Third, check for weird misalignments, like if the design is shifted way off-center or if parts of the coin are missing. Any of these errors could mean big money. Alright, so why is this coin worth more than a Lamborghini? Simple: demand. Coin collectors go crazy for rare errors, and when there are only a few in existence, the price skyrockets. In a recent auction, one of these ultra-rare 2015 pennies sold for $2.1 million, and experts believe the value could climb even higher. Think about it. People pay millions for paintings of soup cans and bananas taped to walls. Why? Because rarity creates demand, and demand creates value. The same rule applies here. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost cashed in on a rare coin, but totally blew it. A few years ago, I was sorting through some loose change, and I found this old penny that looked kinda weird. The letters seemed off, and it just had this strange vibe. But instead of doing my research, I shrugged and tossed it into a Coinstar machine. Fast forward a week, I was scrolling through a coin forum and boom, someone posted a picture of the exact same kind of penny I had, and it had just sold $4.8000. I won't lie, folks, I felt sick. Like, I just ate gas station sushi sick. I basically gave away thousands of dollars for free. Moral of the story? Always check your change before you cash it in. So there you have it, folks. Your pocket change might be hiding a multimillion-dollar secret. If you've got a 2015 penny with no mint mark, check it carefully. You never know. You could be sitting on a small fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some pennies to inspect because I'm never making that mistake again. Alright, folks, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might just change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Imagine reaching into your coin jar, pulling out a penny, and realizing, bam, you're holding onto a tiny piece of copper worth a staggering $2.2 million. Sounds like something out of a dream, right? But trust me, this is real life, and it happened to one lucky collector. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny? Who even checks their pennies? Well, my friend, after today, you will, because that little Lincoln in your drawer might just be a hidden jackpot. Today, we're diving deep into the 1964 D. Lincoln penny, why it's so rare, what makes it worth a fortune, and, most importantly, how you can check if you've got one up. But first, a quick personal story to set the stage. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, casually flipping through a box of old coins like I was Indiana Jones on a treasure hunt. An older gentleman nudged me and whispered, "Son, always check your pennies." I chuckled, thinking, yeah, okay, Grandpa. Fast forward to today, and boy, do I wish I had taken his advice seriously. Because, folks, this exact coin we're talking about, someone found it in their spare change. Yep, $2 million hiding in plain sight. So, let's get to it. What makes this penny so special? And more importantly, could you be the next lucky collector? The story behind the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. Alright, first, a little backstory. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and at first glance, it looks just like any other penny from the 1960s. But here's the kicker, it's not supposed to exist in the way that it does. See, back in the 60s, the US Mint was in a frenzy. Silver prices were skyrocketing, and people were hoarding coins left and right. The mint was so busy pumping out nickels and dimes that they kept using old coin dies from 1964 into 1965. And that's where things got interesting. A few ultra-rare 1964 D pennies were struck with special dies that were supposed to be retired, and somehow, a handful of them slipped into circulation. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what makes it worth $2.2 million? I'm glad you asked. What makes this penny worth a fortune? There are a few key things that set this rare penny apart. The special die strike. Unlike regular 1964 D pennies, these rare ones have a unique appearance due to the leftover die usage. This results in sharper details, especially in Lincoln's beard and the wheat stalks on the reverse, high-grade condition. The real jackpot pennies are the ones in mint, uncirculated condition. If yours is scratched up like it's been through a war, well, let's just say it might not be retirement money, but still worth checking. Unique metal composition. Some of these pennies were struck on a slightly different metal planchet, making them a true rarity. You'll need a good scale to check if yours is lighter or heavier than a regular penny. The D mint mark placement. The rarest versions have the D mint mark slightly misaligned or struck in a different style. If you see something odd about where the D sits, you might just have a winner. And folks, here's the thing. Most of these were never meant to be released, which is why the ones that made it out are worth their weight in gold, literally. Okay, how do I check my pennies without looking like a lunatic? Well, first, let me tell you, you won't be alone. The number of people who have been caught with a magnifying glass hovering over their spare change? Astronomical. Find your 1964 D pennies, check your old piggy bank, that junk drawer in the kitchen, or even under your car seats. You'd be surprised where these things turn up. Check the condition. The shinier, the better. If it looks like it just came from the bank, you might be onto something. Look at the mint mark, grab a magnifying glass, or use your phone's camera to zoom in. If the D looks off or doubled, congratulations, you may have something special. Weigh it. A standard 1964 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is significantly different, you could be holding a rare error coin. Get it authenticated. If your penny checks all the boxes, take it to a professional coin grading service. They'll confirm whether you've struck gold, or, in this case, copper. Conclusion: so, there you have it. A 1964 D Lincoln penny hiding in your collection could be worth a life-changing $2.2 million. The next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Give them a second look. You never know what you might find. And if you think this was wild, wait until you hear about some other rare coins floating around out there. Trust me, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and I've got plenty more stories and money-making tips to share. So, if you want to stay in the loop on the most valuable coins out there, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just one penny, could be worth over $2.3 million? Sounds like something out of a coin collector's fever dream, right? Well, believe it or not, it's true. And today, we're diving into the insane story of the 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, one of the most coveted and valuable pennies out there. Stick around because, trust me, this story is worth more than the coins we're talking about. But before we get started, make sure to grab your magnifying glass, not for spotting rare errors, but to get a closer look at why this penny might just change the way you think about your pocket change. All right, let's rewind and break it down. You know the Abraham Lincoln penny, right? It's been around for years, and we've all had our fair share of them jingling around in our pockets. Most of them aren't worth much, maybe just a little bit of copper and some history. But there's this one special penny from 2017 with a D mint mark that has literally made headlines for being worth millions. You know how some people find treasure in their attic or basement, thinking they're just digging through junk? Well, this 2017 penny is one of those junk coins that turned out to be a gold mine. The thing is, this coin wasn't supposed to exist, and it all starts with an interesting little mistake at the mint. You see, the US Mint typically releases pennies with a P mint mark for Philadelphia and a D mint mark for Denver. But what happened with the 2017 D mint mark Lincoln penny was that it was a misstruck error coin, meaning that, due to a mix-up during production, this penny didn't have the usual clarity or quality you'd expect. Some say it's the product of a rushed minting process, while others argue it's just plain luck that one of these survived into circulation. As you might guess, a lot of these minting errors were quickly pulled from circulation, but a few sneaky collectors kept their eyes peeled and managed to snag a handful of these coins before the mint could call in the coin police. So, while a typical 2017 penny would be worth around a cent, this error penny, due to its rarity and the quirky minting mishap, was suddenly a jackpot. Now, you're probably wondering, how the heck is it worth $2.3 million? Here's the thing: rarity and demand. The rarity comes from how few of these error pennies are floating around. You can probably count the number of them on one hand. The demand comes from people like you and me, coin collectors and investors who are always on the lookout for those rare finds that might not just be worth a dollar, but millions. Let me tell you a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market and saw this dusty old jar filled with pennies. Most of them were just the usual suspects: 80s, 90s, maybe even a couple of 70s coins. But, to be honest, I wasn't expecting anything exciting. That was until I picked up one little penny. No fancy mint marks, no super detailed features. Just an old, worn coin. Now, don't laugh, but I almost tossed it aside. But something told me to hold on to it. After I got home, I did a little digging and found out it was actually a rare variety from the early 1900s, worth about 10 times what I paid for it. Nothing compared to this $2.3 million penny, of course, but it made me realize how much hidden value can be tucked away in the most unexpected places. It's the thrill of the hunt that gets to you. And that's exactly why you can't ignore the value of looking carefully through your change jar or even your couch cushions. Who knows? You could stumble upon a coin that could make your wallet a little heavier. Now, let's talk about how you can keep your eyes peeled for a 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny in your own collection. First off, check your change. If you've got pennies from 2017, take a closer look at the mint mark. Does it have a D? If yes, check it for any signs of error, things like doubling, misshapen details, or even slight imperfections in the design could point toward a potential error coin. But don't stop there. Keep an eye on other years too. Some of the most valuable coins out there aren't always the ones you expect. From the famous 1943 copper penny to the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial era pennies, there's always a chance for a hidden treasure in your pocket. Alright, I hope this little penny story got you fired up about coin collecting and finding those hidden gems. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's that coins can be way more valuable than you think. And they're not just historical artifacts, they can be investment opportunities. So, what are you waiting for? Start checking your pennies, your nickels, your dimes, heck, even your quarters. And if you want more tips on how to spot coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss out on future videos where I break down other coins that are just begging to be found. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your wallets ready. You never know what treasure might be in your change jar.